Hello ladies and gentlemen, Reginald Scott here, and today I was trying to find a slow puncture on one of my tyres. As you can see, I have repaired this particular inner tube before, but I was trying to find out why I was losing air out my front tyre very slowly, and I'm of course using the tyres that, inner tubes that are recommended by the Kinks in their famous song Victoria, Victoria. Yeah, that's right. I know, that's why I'm not a singer. So I was examining this inner tube, and a really good way of doing it is sticking it in a sink with a load of water, which I've already done. So I found where the puncture is. I'm just going to demonstrate to you now. There we go. Dribble some water on there. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a tiny, teeny little bubble. You hear that? So I'm losing air just out the side here where the valve is. Don't know why. I've checked the tyre, can't find any glass or anything that's penetrated the tyre. I picked a load of bits and rammel out of the outside of the tyre, but nothing had gone through. This is obviously on the inside of the rim, so I've checked the rim as well, and there's nothing there sharp. So I don't know, could just be a deterioration in the rubber, but I'm going to patch it up anyway and stop this annoyingly slow puncture from ruining my rides. So I'm going to try a different technique today. Usually I use chalk or the little crayon that comes in the box to mark up my tyre, but today I'm going to use a paint pen. This is a standard paint pen. They're good for marking metals and things. Pretty much anything really. It's like an indelible marker, but it comes out quite nice and bright and yellow. So I'm just going to put a dab where the puncture is, and I'm going to take my puncture repair kit and fix that puncture. So I've painted on the paint pen, made a nice little yellow dot, so I'm definitely not going to lose my hole. I appear to have lost my inner tube though. Butterfingers. Right, where was I? There's the hole, all marked up. It's not compulsory to drop your inner tube on the floor, but I find it entertaining. So now, we must open the holy puncture repair kit. Why is it holy? Because that's what it's good for fixing. And inside we will find some glue for the purpose of sticking, but not me to you. Some tyre levers, or levers, depends where you're from. Obviously there's a correct way of doing it, but I don't know which is which. And these I don't need. Made in England, look at that, wow. That's a rarity. Plastic cheap tyre levers, and they're made in the UK, not in China. I'm amazed. I don't need these because I've already got the tyre off, but maybe you do. We've got some rubber gloves here for naughty weekends. Just put those over to one side. As you can see, they're all stuck together. Yuck. And we have some patches for sticking over the hole. I remember a song that I used to have on a compilation CD of, I think it was called something like Sweet Soul Classics, and it was this really depressing song about a guy singing about how his father died and his grandmother had got rickets, and you know, everyone got a woodworm in the rocking chair, and how it was his job to now tend the fields and look after his sick mother. And the chorus used to go, patches, we're dependent on you, son, to pull the family through. So whenever I say patches, I can't get that song out of my head. A bit like Victoria, Victoria, which I've had in my head all morning, ever since I knew I was going to do this video on patching up my Victoria inner tube. It's like a jukebox in my head, goodness me. And then in here we've got a little Ujima flip, not to be confused with a doodah or a thingamy-bob. So this Ujima flip basically is a little piece of paper, and on here we have very detailed instructions on how to fix a puncture on your inner tube. Look like a condensed IKEA manual. So here we have a guy with a lipstick, and he's applying the lipstick on his lips. Actually no, that's just marking up where the hole is. In this case it's a really nasty tear. Then we can stick the abrasive material, which is that little piece of sandpaper there, on top and rub it so we've got something nice to grip when we apply the glue, which is the next phase. So dabble a load of glue on, I tend to use a lot of glue and then sort of wipe it off when I'm done. Then we wait for 4 minutes exactly. Any less or any more, it won't work. It will just completely fall off. That's not strictly true, but we'll see. Then we can stick the patch on. That's the hardest part, because some patches are really annoying. Like the material they come on is really hard to pick off with your fingernails. It's quite frustrating. We'll see how it goes with this one. These are new patches, so I don't know how good they are. And then we stick it down and hold it for a little while. Is there any more instructions? No. This one just says highly flammable. So all of this is likely to burst into flames if not used correctly. It's irritant, so it's not the kind of thing you want to invite to a party. And this one is dangerous for the environment. And usually they say hazardous marine life and they have a dead fish, but this one's got a dead tree as well. So put any of this anywhere in the environment and you will cause the apocalypse. So be warned, yeah? Be sensible with your puncture repair kits. Don't feed them to children, okay? So there's also this little piece of French chalk inside. And I know what you're thinking. French can't be good for anything. You know, they gave us Napoleon. We should never forgive them for that. And quiche. And of course, real men don't eat quiche. If you do, I do apologise, but you know, you had to be told. This actually is not complete in itself. What you need is the little abrasive square, or sort of off square, we have on the back here. It looks like a little tiny cheese grater. Not many people know this. Not many people know why that's there. So you got the little cheese grater on the back, and you get the chalk, and you rub it up and down on the cheese grater, and it produces a fine French chalk dust. Yeah? Are you enthralled? Are you thrilled? And then what do we do with the dust? Well, what we do with the dust is we apply the dust to the new patch when it's stuck down, and that stops the patch from sticking to things that we don't want it to stick to, like the inner tube or the rim of the bike wheel or our genitals, you know, general stuff like that. Imagine like you just got out of the bath and you put some talcum powder on, stick your underwear, you know, stop your underwear from sticking to your butt. That's exactly what this is for. Okay, so don't forget your talcum powder. Right, phase 2 coming up. Actually, no, this will be phase 3. I always get confused. So now, the messy and exciting part comes up, which we all know. If something's messy and exciting, it's got to be good. Right, I applied the glue, but not before I used my little sanding pad. And I just sanded the surface down to sort of scuff it up a bit. Don't go crazy with the sanding pad, because you'll just sand away all your inner tube and then you won't have anything to stick your patch to. Just rough it up a bit. You know, show it who's boss. And then stick your glue on. Now I'm a little bit concerned because my blob of glue on there doesn't look like the blob of glue in the instruction manual. So I'm a little bit concerned it's not going to work, but we'll see.
Ears. Practice.
He licks if you put it in your hand like this one.
Yeah, if you put it like this, he will lick.
Yeah, look. He licks.
I don't like it. It's so salivary.
Land of hope and gloria, something or other Victoria, Victoria. Yeah, I know it's Victoria, not Vittoria, but there you go. So, should be about there on the glue. One-handed as well, just to show how talented I am. So, a little hole was somewhere around about there. Stick it down and hold it for a little while. Not too long, not too little, just right. And there you go. It sticks. You can hardly tell it's there. Now what I'm going to do is go around and just touch up the edges with a little bit more adhesive. And then the exciting and enthralling stage of rubbing chalk all over it, chalky powder all over this thing, will begin. Piece of advice, don't snort the chalk. See you in a wee while. So there you are. I've gone round with my finger and just added a teeny tiny little bit more adhesive around the edges, just to stop the edges from curling up and make sure they stay stuck down, because I really dislike it when the edges of the patch start to lift. So you're fine to do it with your finger. It says irritant on the box, but unless you're allergic to just about everything, you should be okay, and you can always wash your hands afterwards and get rid of that extra adhesive. So don't panic, flight mechanic, it should be okay. Now all we have to do is make sure that all the stickiness that's left over doesn't stick to the wrong places. I've even touched up my old patch here with a bit, because there was a slight tear forming in the patch, so I've just put a little bit on there. So I've got to make extra chalk for that as well. All we do is get our little box, close the lid, put it down on a nice flat surface, and have it that way around. Get a little piece of chalk and start rubbing. This is going to be difficult to do without two hands, so see you in a second. So here's one I did earlier, and it should look a little bit like Christmas at Scarface's house. Say hello to my little friend. There we go. Sorry for the terrible impression. There you go. So that's what the chalk's for. You just sort of put that all over the patch, and now it's nice and smooth and it doesn't stick to your fingers. And I will now move over to the new one and do that one as well. So another jump cut. Here we go. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride my bicycle all day. There we go, all covered in white powder. Just smooth it around with your finger. You ain't going nowhere, my little friend. There you go. And that is how you repair an inner tube. Now all you have to do is get this back in your tyre and you're good to go. So, thanks for watching my not very helpful YouTube video on how to do an inner tube. I hope you found it terribly entertaining. If you didn't, you know what to do. Of course, if you do give me a thumbs down, you will be cursed for all eternity. Just like those annoying Facebook posts people put, share this in 5 seconds or your whole family is going to die. Yeah, just please stop. So now our inner tube is back in. I don't know whether these things are getting easier or I'm getting better at this, but it was actually quite simple this time to get it back in. Tyre went on fairly easy. And I pumped it up to about 7 bar, and now I'm going to test to see whether the wheel is ready for the road. Ta-da! This is called wheel basketball. This is what you have to do with all racing wheels to test whether they're ready for the road. If they don't bounce like this, then they're not right and you have to do them again. You also have to get that nice sound, it's a nice twang. It's like when you're testing whether your glasses at home are really made of crystal. You drop them on the floor, and when they smash, if they make that nice tingling sound, then you know they're definitely high quality crystal. So right, thanks for watching my video, and safe riding everyone.